Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. If you want to go to the terrace of a building, but you get in the elevator and keep pressing basement, where is it going to go? Is it? Is it? So we all, at least supposedly, looking for that which is the unchanging truth, unchanging reality, the absolute, Brahman, that which is the source of even consciousness, I am. Yes, you're here for this. Is it? Now, if that is the source of even our being, and most of us have been in satsang long enough to understand that all other manifest appearance, all other phenomena is in the light of our being. And empty of this being, there is no manifest appearance. On which side of being do you have to look to find the unchanging reality? On which side of being do we have to look? So one side of being is, I am happy, I am unhappy, I am experiencing joy, I am experiencing grief, I am sitting, I am standing, I am walking, I am a seeker of freedom, I am a student of Vedanta, I am devoted to my master. All of this is after I am. Yes? And all of this is talking about all the layers of our existence, therefore are dependent on our existence to exist. Is it? Now we have been playing with this realm for many years. So I was just saying that on this side of I am, you see, everything is constantly changing. And then I noticed even our Zoom connection dropped. So even this is changing. What can we rely on here? That is going to last forever. There is nothing. Anything that you attach to this I am, and if you get attached to that, anything that you have attached, it's going to lead to suffering. So then, is this hopeless, pointless, or is there another way to look? So in satsang, when we say contemplate, we are not really talking about thinking about it. Is not what contemplate means here. It means a looking, but looking at that which is the substratum of even our existence. So if this I am is a gate, and in this side is all the manifest, all the attachments, all this coming and going, what is on this side of the gate? So that which is aware even of existence, which is that one? Is it not you? I'm very happy that yesterday someone shared that Amaya was telling them that look at these simple pointings. And one of them is, can you stop being? You see? So it came up in Satsang a few years ago, where I remembered my frustration of reading Nisargadatta Maharaj and saying, he just says, just stay with the sense I am and it'll all be taken care of. But I couldn't figure out what is this I am, how to stay with it. I had no sense of what it was, you see. But then when it occurred to me, when it became clear, then it seemed like the most obvious thing. Then it just feels like, how could you ever have been confused about this? You see? So, I have a tool for that, which is to ask yourself this question, or I can ask you this question: can you stop being? You see? Can you stop being? Try to stop being. Don't be for a moment. And tell me if you succeeded. Don't give it to your intellect. Your intellect will say, yes, yes, when I die, when I am asleep. You see, we're not talking about all that speculation. Now, don't be. You will see that I cannot not be. It doesn't even need that inference. Something will be clear to you. Your very existence is so apparent to you that the idea of stopping it will sound strange. Tell me if it is not so. Your very existence is so apparent to you that the idea of stopping it just sounds absurd. You see? So this apparent existence is your being. And for those of you who feel it is natural for you to stay with this sense of existence, it is beautiful. But even that is not something which is a prerequisite to freedom. Oops, careful. Even this, having the ability to rest our attention on this very essence of existence, you see, is not a prerequisite, because it can occur to you spontaneously that even this sense of existence, you are aware of it. It is not a third party report. You see, you are aware of it. It is not second hand information. You see, now this you that is aware of even your existence, what can we say about that? Now don't go spiritual sightseeing and don't say, thank you, I'm finding peace, some joy is coming as I'm looking. All that can come, it's good, enjoy, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. You see, tell me about this one that is aware of even your existence. And on this question, if you're making a conclusion, then expose that conclusion. Because the conclusion could be, thank you, this is what I have to do. You see, thank you, I found the tool, I'm good, I came to Satsang. No, I'm saying now. I'm not giving any homework. Tell me about this I that is aware of even your existence. One says, I feel like I'm trying to perceive being. You see? You're not trying to do anything. Effortlessly, you are aware of your existence. I am just asking about the one that is aware. How do you even call it I? I am aware. You see, if you give this to your mind, the mind will give you many distractions, seeming answers, but all garbage. You see, let all the garbage come and go. You speak from your true seeing. This that is aware of your existence. Tell me something about it. Or tell me why you call it I. How is it I? I can give you another tool, which is a bit maybe subtler than this, but sometimes it can be effective. Are you aware now? Yes or no? Are you unsure about it? Huh? So this that you confirm, yes. On what basis did you confirm? Come on, let's go. I say, are you aware now? You say, yes. Some may say, of course. Some obviously will also say, I don't know, I'm not sure what your question means, and all of this stuff. You have to become a little more innocent. You see? You have to become a little more innocent, because this is just, you've gone to the intellectual gymnasium for too long. So now everything has become intellectual, just with the innocence of a child. You see? Just like if I ask a child, are you holding a piece of candy? They say yes or no, very simply. They're not going to say, I don't know, what do you mean by candy and what would holding be? You see, all this thing. You see? So, are you aware? This yes is a very strange yes. And tell me if this is not resonating with any of you. It's a very strange yes. Because if I say, am I sitting on a blue couch? Is it? What do you say? Yes. It's blue. You see? On what basis you said that? On the basis of perception, isn't it? You had a sensory perception that there is a blue couch. You see? On that basis you said that. If I say, did I have Satsang yesterday? Yes, because you had an experience of that, which your seeming repository of experiences is confirming, that which we call memory is confirming. So you say yes. You see? This big ball that we call the earth that we are sitting on, is it stationary or moving? Moving. On what basis we say that? Conceptual. It is not a perceptual knowledge now, unless you make some correlation with the sun or something like that. You see? So this is a different type of knowledge. First was perceptual. Now this is conceptual. Somebody told you, credible sources told you, all the great scientists told you that this earth is not stationary, it is rotating around its own axis and revolving around the sun. All this we've been told, we said okay.
It's experiential also. It's not conceptual.
How?
Day and night is changing.
That's what I said. Unless you make a relationship with the sun or some other object, just in this, sitting in this room without, you see, okay, this is not a perceptual information. You're not feeling like it's moving so fast. This is what you see. Not like when you're on a jet plane or something like this. Even that, after a while, it is not noticed perceptually unless you make a relationship with something perceptual. You see, and draw an inference. Therefore, you see. So this kind of knowledge. You see. Then, in which city were you born? You see? What type of knowledge is that?
Incarnation.
Conceptual. You got the concept from your parents or some other relatives. You see? So both these types of information we have relied on, perceptual and conceptual. And there are many examples all of you are smart enough to contemplate this. But when I ask you, are you aware now? And when you say yes, what is the basis of that? Is it perception? Okay, tell me how.
Because so many things we are seeing and hearing
Yes,
and feeling.
yes, yes. So you are perceiving all of this sensory perception, you see, and you are aware of this perception, you see. Now, perception understood, aware means you are aware of perception, and in deep sleep you are aware of no perception. Or just now, if there is visual perception, you are aware of perception. If eyes close, you are aware of no perception. Similarly, all these senses can go one by one, and many of you have had meditative experiences like this, where the senses go one by one, and yet you are aware of their non-existence. You see? So this aware how do you confirm this? Yeah. This aware, when we say I'm sitting on a couch, we know what sitting is and what couch is. I'm walking on the street, we know what walking is and what street is. Now we've come to the point where we're saying I am aware of my perception. You see, perception, clear. The sensory, moving, light and sound, all this kind of stuff, perception. But what does aware of mean? What does aware of mean? The first part of the sentence, aware of perception. How are you confirming that? That I am aware of perception. Huh? It is neither conceptual nor perceptual, she said. It's a very big statement to make. You see? It's a very big statement to make. Because all the rest of our knowledge, except ourselves, except this awareness, you see, is either conceptual or perceptual. You see? But this self-knowledge, Atma-Gyan, is not subject to perception or concept. You see? And therefore, we don't have to struggle with any of this product of I am, but we have to struggle with, not struggle with, but we have to look at the father of I am. Some of this terminology is strange for you. You've been satsang, heard some satsang before? So when I say you have to look at the father of I am, you see, don't take the metaphor too far, because then you start imagining one grey-haired father or something. But look at the source, the substratum of even existence. You see, what is your means of confirming that? And does it need this kind of confirmation? Also, the ones online can tell me how many are not with me, you can point out. Are you aware? So we have a report. Are you aware? The question is, are you aware? You is consciousness. Aware is part of Sach. Now we've gone too far. Too far, ma. Come back a bit. You see, this is again conceptual, intellectual knowledge. You see, so we don't need that. Stay with your experience. What is aware of existence? And do we need a scripture to tell us? You see? Is anything needed actually at any level of either intellect or perception? how many are with the question itself, the contemplation itself, and how many are just lost when it comes to this, what is being said?
I'm lost to what.
Lost. Do you recall at which point you lost me?
I think it's probably the play of words. I'm finding it hard to follow the chain of thoughts.
It can be like this because first time I see you here, so vocabulary can be a bit different, and more importantly, you see, this is a strange sort of classroom. If at the end of satsang you're able to tell me 10 things that you learned, then I have not done a good job. You see, if you're able to tell me that I thought I knew so much, but now I lost all that, you see, concept, then I feel like today's satsang was good for you. You see, so this feeling of just like this can be good, and actually it is good because that means we are loosening up a bit. You see, okay, I'm going to digress for just a moment on why this is good. This house of ego that we have built, you see, is built on everything that we think we know. You see, and that is why it has also been constantly unstable. You see, because now you consider this to be true. 5 years back you considered something else to be true. 10 years back you had completely different belief system. You see, so all of this is also constantly changing, and with all this change of beliefs you also had painted a different picture of yourself. You see? So sometimes, your current picture could be that I'm very spiritual. When you were younger you could have had a picture which is I was very rebellious. You see, all of these things based on the concepts that we hold and the things that we think are true. Now when we come to satsang, ultimately what is going to happen, I'm not sure whether I should say this right now, but what is going to happen is that everything that you're holding on to, that you believe to be true and you are certain about, is going to be taken away from you. You see, and not necessarily in a forceful way, but it's going to be dropped by you. You see. So that is why the words of satsang can also have this sort of effect where you're just like, okay, I understood he was saying elevator, if you want to go to top floor then don't press basement, I was there. Then he started talking about existence and how when light of existence comes on, then all of this play starts to happen, but everything in this play is ephemeral, is constantly changing. Okay, till there. Then he started talking about that which is aware or prior to even this existence, and at that point it all started to become a bit fuzzy, isn't it? It can play like that, isn't it? That at that point, because I have no way to validate this, and then we started looking at the means of knowledge and looked at, okay, do we have a conceptual knowledge about things, that means an idea about something, or we had a perception that this is true. And then we said, but when I say I am aware, then Amma said, I can say I am aware because there is changing perception of various objects, so I can confirm that there is awareness of perception. You see? But I said, okay, perception is understood. And we were talking about how sitting on a couch, sitting is understood, couch is understood. Walking on a street, walking is understood, street is understood. But aware of perception, aware of sight, aware of sound, sight is understood, sound is understood. But what is this aware? You see, that so far for did you lose me somewhere this time also along the way? No. So when we say aware, you see, then it sort of becomes to the mind like a black box. You see? Then we start relying again on our conceptual knowledge. But that is not the idea. We can remember the best scriptures in the world, but they don't help us when suffering comes. It is our own inner insight about this, you see, which becomes the stable ground. You see. So this is the insight that the sages have had, which made them, even in the outward appearance, mostly stable in this world. Anyway, don't bother with that byproduct. You find that which is aware of your existence. And to find this, I gave two tools. You see? The first tool was to try and stop being. Can you stop being? And it seemed like an absurd question, because that being is so apparently here, beingness is so apparently here. To try and stop it seems like an absurd invitation. So my first tool was to ask you, who is aware of even this being? Tell me about that one. Yes? Is it? Yes, so far? Tell me who is aware of this being without using a conceptual piece of knowledge, without relying on anything you have learnt in the past. Check now and tell me something about that one. You say that I exist, I am. And you may even say, I am aware that I am. I am asking about this I. What type of experience is it? She said beautifully, she said, but it is not perceptual knowledge, nor conceptual knowledge. And yet, it is clear to me that I am aware. So this I that is aware, and then I said, okay, let me give you another tool which seems a bit more direct. Let me give you another tool which seems a bit more direct. And I ask you, are you aware now? This question is super potent, but you may not realize the potency of it yet. Some of you do, of course. It is very unique, this question, are you aware now? Not because of the question itself, but what it invites in you. You say yes without relying on a concept or a percept. You see? If you're really following the inquiry, then your yes is coming from knowledge with a capital K, which is neither sensory nor is it just intellectual. You are confirming your own self as awareness. This is what you are. Now you can be at peace with this, or you can struggle with this. The way to struggle with this is to try and understand it. This which you are meeting in a open and naked way, if you try to put it in the box of your intellect, you will struggle forever, but you will never be able to do it. That is why in the beautiful Sikh scripture it is said, "Soche soch na hoye, jo soche lakhwar," which means no matter how much you think about it, even if you think about it 100,000 times, you will not capture it in your thinking. Satsang introduces you to a higher place of looking, a deeper place of insight than just the intellect. And Satsang is the place we come to for a deconstruction of our conceptual version of life, of reality, of yourself, to come to a true insight about your reality, about the absolute truth, if there is such a thing. A direct insight. And many times it is not fun because it can feel like the mind will keep telling you, but I didn't come for this. I just came to learn more Advaita Vedanta, you see? Or I just came so that I could experience joy all the time, you see? Or something like that. And that is completely fine. In fact, nobody should ever force anyone to come to Satsang. But if we are in Satsang, then I want to tell you honestly that if you are here for the byproducts, for the side effects, just for the Ananta-Part of Satchitananda, then it's not going to work out well. But if you're here for the Sat part, the truth part, and unconcerned with everything else, because truth, Satsang, Satchitananda, to come to the company of the truth, of the being with the truth, is what Satsang is for. And sometimes as words of reassurance I tell you that, okay, give the truth a chance. You see? Before you start checking for the other byproducts that you are looking for. Now, if you've been listening, you may ask a rational question, which is, okay, you said so much about truth. You see, how do I know what is true? And the sages have given the answer. Truth is that which does not change, that which does not come and go, that which has no boundary, that which is not an object of your perception, that which cannot be conceptually understood. All of these clues are available to us. Use any one of them. Find out that which is unchanging. Where will you look? To look for that which is unchanging, in which direction to look? Okay, for Anil now this is the last warning. If you type any more, you're going to be out. It's been a long time coming. And what was the other thing? So, in which direction to look? If you want to look for that which is the unchanging. Some reports are coming about this, and I'll read the earlier reports a bit later. Father, I feel I recognize the aware part, but it loses my focus as the attention on objects and ego gets louder. Now, okay, this is very good. So you say, yes, that which attention is reporting to, that is always the substratum. Everything that perception is bringing is reporting back to myself, this awareness which remains untouched. But what happens is that my attention gets fixated on something phenomenal, you see. So you say, as the attention on objects and ego gets louder, you see. So now what I want you to do is let attention be completely free and go anywhere. Once you have seen that the source or the substratum is this unchanging awareness, then you don't have to force your attention to stay in a particular way. Let your attention be free. But there is a distinction between object and ego. You see? You say attention goes on objects and ego. So objects is what we call this just pure perception. You see? Actually, they are not even objects in pure perception. Even that is a label. But let's for a moment. You see? So these are objects. Now, what is ego? Is that ever perceived? You see? So the ego is never perceived, it is made up, it is only inferred. The limited self is not a perception. Even right now, you may say, but my ego is this is how I define it, you see. But if I ask you that what is this, you say it's a set of perceptions, you see, sensations, you see. Now, where are the sensations occurring? Within you or outside you? Within you. You may not be able to define what this you is, it's okay, you see. So, within you, all these sensations are happening. You see? Now this within which this is happening, and just as a tool, you can use also this voice. Where is this voice happening? Where is it perceived? Within which space? Within you. You see? Now this you, within which all of these sensations and perceptions are there, what is the boundary of that one? So you can use anything. Use the sound of the traffic, use this voice, use the pain if there is in the body. Look at all of it and see what is that space, and I will provisionally call it the space of existence. What is this space of existence, space of being, in which all of these perceptions are occurring, and does this have any boundary? You see? Now I want to ask you, are you also an object within this space of being? Are you also a perception? Are you also contained in this space of being? And this is where we started. What is aware of even this being, of this existence? So let's say everything that is appearing in your existence is objective in the way that it is limited by time and space. It was born, it will die, it has duration, you see, it has attributes, it has shape, it has size. Yes? Everything that is perceived is an object in time and space, isn't it? Now, that which witnesses this perception, does that have any attributes? Is it not you that is witnessing this?
That statement is perception.
Statement is, but look, of course all the statements are, you see, but statements are like the road sign, saying look here, don't look there, you see. So they are not the goal in themselves. You see? Yes. And Kalima says no direction. Yes. Because actually when we come to this point, all distinctions, up, down, left, right, this side of being, that side of being, all these we see were just provisional things. But don't rush into that. That is her insight at the moment. Let her stay with that. All of you continue to look in the way which is resonating the most for you. You see? So, yes, you will see that all of these distinctions actually, they start to fade away, and the idea of direction itself falls away. You see? So no direction is a good report. Then another says, I feel like it is all happening in me. Sometimes it is sometimes it feels like it is all happening in me. You see? Yes. So all is happening within your existence, within your being, in the very light of your, like Bhagavan said, in the light of your consciousness, on the screen of your consciousness. You see? So there is, all of this is just consciousness itself. But you have to taste it like this. You have to move beyond the statements and let this become your own insight. So happening within you. Then we were talking about the ego, yes? Now within all of these perceptions, there is a certain set of sensation and perception which we call me. You see? How does that happen? How did that separation come about? How is it that all the perceptions are happening? You see? In all of the perception, there is a set of perception which I want to call me. And every other perception I want to say outside me. But is this reality? You see? And it was not even natural to us as children. We were taught this distinction. You see? You see? So this idea of me, this idea of separation within this one existence, is the idea of ego. Or the idea of duality. That is why this is Advaita, which means non-duality, no distinction, no two. So, although the ego is never perceived, the mind is also a set of perceptions, energy constructs, which is convincing you, that is convincing consciousness itself, that it has now broken itself up into a me and another, that duality is real. That is why Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi said that I am is no trouble. But when I am takes itself to be I am something, when it attaches itself to any limitation, that is the root of all suffering. But for ego, there needs to be an idea, a notion. Me itself is the idea. When I is taken to be, is confused with the I thought, that is the root of all suffering. As Bhagavan said, the dissolution of the I thought is what is needed. So this means that I no longer holds any limited reference, and understand that any reference that you make will be a limited reference. Who has heard me so far? The I thought means that I being referred to as something, including the highest, you see, is still a limited reference. But empty of this limited reference, your unlimitedness is apparent to you. I feel to challenge all of you of lifetimes and keep having the same conversation. You see, empty of a notional idea of yourself, your unlimited truth is apparent to you now. Fight with me on this. I am open. Because this is what I find. You see? If you are not limiting yourself using any thought construct, this that is the sometimes called the ultimate truth is completely clear to you. And hardly anyone fights with me on this. What you fight with me is on, but this notion feels so true. It's too attractive. I keep believing that. You see, that is what the fight is about. I don't feel like any of you really arguing with me on the nature of reality, which is the unchanging, which is just therefore must be here. You see, you're usually saying, but I wanted some firework, but I wanted, where's my bliss? You see, but something, you see. But what about what I'm saying? Let me invoke the Buddhists if that helps. They said Buddha nature is never concealed. What it means? It means it's apparent, no? So what is apparent to you now? Is it Buddha nature? Sages said truth is unchanging. It neither comes nor goes. You see? So do you have to wait for something to come to confirm that? Cannot be. Where must it be? That is why I say the master's number one role initially is to tell you where not to go. I am just telling you two simple places where not to go. Don't go to any idea and don't go to any perception. Simple. Now what is left? Yeah? Who said?
The addiction.
Huh?
The addiction to the idea of perception. The addiction.
Addiction to the idea is left?
Yeah, to the fear.
Is left? Is left? Is it left? Truth is left. Truth is left. You see? But even addiction is not left. Because even for addiction you have to think about it. You see? Even for addiction you have to think about it. What is left? Now, before the click. You see? Don't conclude anything with your mind. I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just looking for you looking. I'm just looking for you looking without concluding. It is my challenge to you that without you holding a notion about anything, the complete and certain truth is apparent to you. You tell me how it is. Okay, a question is coming. Our experience is pain or pleasure in this body and mind I experience, and not others' pain and pleasure. So it appears that I am different because I cannot deny my experience. Okay. Tonight we go to sleep. Yes? A dream, a so-called dream appears. In that dream, you're a farmer who's working hard all day on his fields. You see? And there are others, rich people, who come and steal this farmer's produce. And this one is feeling all kinds of pain, body pain, emotional pain, victimhood, everything. You see? Who are you? You see? If you still make that boundary and you even take this instruction as the farmer, then obviously the poor farmer is going to say, but how can I confirm to you that I am all there is? Look at these people, they've taken all my whatever I toiled so hard to make and all of this thing. You see? So first drop this idea, because God pretending to be a person, trying to find God will never work. You see? It never works. Many try it. You see? Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharishi was asked, once one finds self-realization, how do they deal with others? And he said, there are no others. You see? If you start putting the filter of duality first and say, but I experience my own sensation and my own pain, but not another's. We've already given birth to me and other. No? How you know it is from this body? You see, even amputees, you see, experience this phantom. What is it called? Phantom limb. Huh? Also, there is rubber glove experiment. You put a rubber glove here and hide your hand, and put sensation on your hand and rub the rubber glove at the same time. Very soon you will start feeling that the rubber glove is your hand, and if it is poked by a pin, you will cry out in pain. Whose sensation is that? Yours or another's? You see? If we start drawing the boundaries based on these perceptual appearances, you see, then already we have got into this nature of duality. Then, with that lens of being a wave, you see, I'm just a poor little wave, then how will reconcile with Ashtavakra saying, you are that ocean in which the arcs of the universes, they come and go. Then it is too far from each other, you see. Now I'm not saying you have to pick up that position. I'm saying drop this wave position for a moment. Now I want to give all of you good news, which you have heard every day before, which is that without an idea, you cannot become dual. You cannot take yourself to be separate without a notion. This is such a simple pointing. Unless this also we give to the mind and say, what do you think about this? He's going to say, but I'm stuck, I'm habituated, like she was saying, I'm addicted. You see, the mind will only give these reports. But it is never true that God is addicted to the mind. And only God is here. You see. Only God is here. You see. But it does feel like that. It does feel like that. That is why Satsang is like the rehab. Rehab for God, by God. Then, the report was not complete. Then it was said, moreover, realized master also, when called by his name, responds. You see, the whole perspective has to be switched back a bit. You see, because there is no name for the realized master. You see? Okay, let me tell you, maybe it's confusing. Shankara, one time he was sitting with a group of devotees, something like this only. He was sitting around talking about the illusory nature of the world. This whole world is Maya, nothing is real in this. Tiger comes. That which we call Shankara, the body, was the first to run. Tiger, so he was the first to run. And then the other devotees also followed. They all climbed trees. And they were waiting over there. They waited for the tiger to go. Tiger went away. And then Shankara came back down. He was sitting on a couch probably. And then people were around him. They were laughing at him. In Hindi you would say pakda gaya, caught you. Like this kind, they were snickering at him. What's going on? Why are you all behaving like this? He said, just before the tiger came, you said all of this is Maya, it is illusion, it is not real. You see, all of this stuff. Tiger came and you were the first to run. You see? He said, the coming of the tiger, my saying all of that, the coming of the tiger, the running, and all of this part of the same illusion. Now, this we cannot understand if we keep the construct that body is Shankara. I can give you only this much clue, okay? If we still feel like, okay, the realized master is that object where everything is saying is that I am not this object, you see, and not just this object. But if we still identify, and the depth of our body conditioning is so deep, that even in spite of hearing all of this, we still feel like, okay, there is a separate realized master and he is sitting only in this body. Then this is not Advaita, you see, then this is still duality. So God is calling, God is responding, God is playing this whole game. God is the tiger, God is running, God is the space, God is time, God is all of this. So although we are deeply reverential to that form which is playing as the instrument, that expression which is serving as the instrument to the Sadguru, to the Supreme Lord, you see, we are not to forget that the Master's pointing is that this body is just another part of the appearance. If you still take the Master to be the body, then obviously this confusion will be there. Why this one ran? Or why he responds when name is called. I wonder if any of this resonates somewhere. And as you find yourself, as all this doubt about yourself will be clear, then all of these stories will become completely clear. So don't struggle with any of these stories. If they are not understood, they are not understood. It's fine. You find what you are. That much is enough. And you will find that the more you know, the more you will struggle. You see? Because everybody is willing to hand over everything which they think is bad. Oh Master, take my greed, take my lust, take my addictions, take my falsehood. You see? But hardly anyone makes the prayer, take all my joy, take my peace, take everything is yours, take my truths. You see? You see? So when we say I surrender everything, we only say, okay, I'm going to give my bad stuff. But you have to give everything. You see? And give everything means no, Master doesn't want anything. Give everything that you think you are right about. You see? Come back to the innocence of a child, and then you will understand what Jesus meant when he said only the babes, only the children will enter the kingdom of heaven. Because if you meet it through your intellectual filter, if you meet it through your conceptual understanding, this truth can seem so far away. It's time to go. Love. Good. Yes, you're right. You will never meet the truth through the filter of your learned knowledge, even if it seems like spiritual knowledge. And when it comes to this directness, this now, you will see that the mind which is trying to play your friend inside your head, in fact trying to play your master inside your head, will only resist this simple now. When I look now, I see the attention flowing towards your statements and then some responses arising in me. All this is watched. There is an aliveness which is tough to put in words. It is not just tough, it is impossible. See, even your manifest aliveness, beingness, is impossible to put in words. Forget about trying to put in words that which is its very source. In fact, we are stepping back from this tyranny of words. Words have oppressed us. Ego without words is non-existent. Even if it feels a bit energetic, I have this energetic separation, that is like empty glass, you see, just so fragile. Just one glance from the master can blow it away. You see? But when it is reinforced by the scaffolding of words, you see, of knowledge, mental knowledge, then it seems impenetrable. You see?
Questions about words in my head.
Yeah.
But I can have a heart voice in my head. From heart.
Yes. If that is clear to you, then you can follow that guidance.
So a heart can also speak.
Yes.
Как я могу отличить это голос сердца или голос?
How can he differentiate between both?
Then you forget it. Then you forget it. You see, because when you said that there is mind voice and there is heart voice, that's why I asked you if you're able to distinguish, this is my heart, this is my divine, intuitive Sadguru voice, you see, and I can give you a lot of clues. But if it is not clear to you, drop it. You see? If it is not clear to you, drop it. You see? Okay, just I feel to give you an answer also. So, the mind's voice, the voice of separation, is always grasping. Is always grasping. It wants something, and usually it wants it fast. It's in a rush. Like that. You see, I want, and I want now. You see, like this. That is the mind's voice. the voice of the Sadguru within, or the heart's voice, or this voice of this divine presence, is never wanting. You see, is never grasping, never clinging, is never saying, you see, like that. You see? So, but you don't try to force all of this. You are in satsang already. You see? So, whatever instruction is needed to you is available to you. Then, one day it will become apparent that this is the voice of my inner Sadguru. Then you can follow that voice. But if there is doubt, is this mind or is this intuition? Forget it. It's fine. One day it speaks so loudly in your heart that you will have no doubt about it. You see? But don't make this now an objective. You understanding my idea? Yeah. Don't make this a goal. You stay with what is being pointed to you in satsang, discover what you are. You find what you are, find yourself, and then all this will become very simple, very easy. You see? If you take this side track and say, okay, now I'm going to spend some time and just figure out, is this mind, is this heart, is this mind, is this heart, or mind, heart? You see, you could waste an entire lifetime just trying to figure this out, but never happen. You see? Use your time to find yourself. Then all this is very simple. It's okay. Some defrosting happened. Thank you all so much for being in satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Sadguru Shri Ananta-Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam.